There he goes. Hey, everybody. Brian the Wild Armenian, rat ride, carport builder, mechanic, real estate investor, whatever you want to call me. Don't call me late for lunch. And for your enjoyment pleasure, I'm commercial free. So no old pesky commercials, you know. And I hate that too. When I'm watching a video on YouTube and they're ready to tell you the point of the whole story, and then it goes to commercial. And then when it goes back to the video, you lost what the person was going to say or do or whatever. So I have to rewind it back and then watch, and it's just mess. So this way, you don't have to do that. See, there's positive ways. I guess Google needed the money. They never did pay me for the commercials I was getting paid for. So, if they want to do that to a senior citizen, okay. If they need the money that bad, go ahead, Google and YouTube. I guess I'll help you guys out. My, oh my. Maybe we need Elon Musk to buy YouTube and Google, and maybe it'll be efficient. Who knows? Anyway, what I'm doing here is this alternator is going to go on my flathead. And what I'm doing is I'm making it a one-wire hookup. And what that is used to be, well, let me show you. It's a built-in regulator in this thing. And this is the old one that came out of here. And it would be like this inside. There'd be two terminals sticking up. So it'd be a 3-wire alternator, which I've turned this into a 1-wire alternator. And all you do is hook this lead right to the battery positive, and voila, you're good to go. I rewired the old 49 Ford, and I was originally going to put a 3-wire hookup, but then I started making a wiring harness, and I didn't allow another extra wire to go there. And I needed the resistor, and I said, you know what, I'll just pull this alternator off. I already rebuilt this alternator once, and it does have 0 miles on it. I put new bearings and all, and this is the front part of it. Y'all are familiar with that. There's where the V belt goes, and this is the fan. I can't even say it right. But anyway, that's what I'm doing. Sorry I haven't been around much. I've been busy in retirement, and we got to think how many gardens we got going on. Got the vegetable garden over there. Got the flower gardens, I guess 1, 2. We don't even mess with the other one. It's got bushes, I guess, and we need to get in there and weed it. And then we got the 2 little ones up at the road by the gate. And that's what I've been doing. I've been busy. And then working on the old 49. Like I said, I'm doing this. This will complete the wiring of this truck. And so I've been busy, and I've been happy. Retirement is good, and this is what retirement to me is all about. I mean, other people, they can sit around and do whatever, shuffleboard, and that's cool too if they're into that, or bowling, or But it's dirty, and I'm not done with the wiring, so don't judge me on that. I still gotta get up the close, figure out. There's a couple of problems I have with the headlight switch, and I got these running lights, and I got these cool looking these type of like moony type half moon headlights here, and halogen, and these boogers are bright. So I didn't run these as daytime running, and I ran it to the ignition side. So when you turn the parking light on, this comes on along with the parking light, the original style parking light. So I don't know. That's why the wiring is kind of still left dangling there under the dash. I'm still deciding if I want to change this over to daytime driving. If I'm really concerned that much about it, and all I can do is just pull the headlight switch out into the park position, and it'll work just fine. So I don't know. I'm toying with that, and I also didn't allow the high beam indicator light up in the speedometer to let me know. Do I need it? I can do without it, but I want to go ahead and do it. Why I got the wiring harness not completed there, and this is the old flathead, and like I said, I pulled the alternator off, and you can see that. And You know, that's an AC Delco alternator, GM alternator I'm putting on the old Ford. And that's a lot of guys do, street riders and classic guys, you know, they classic car builders and stuff. They do that little trick. And I've been doing it for years. And that's why I'm doing it. And I save money doing it also. You know, it's cheaper that way. That was an old alternator I had on the shelf somewhere. I've had it for years. So, you know, what the heck. And here's this one garden here. And got some of the weeds started pulling on it. Been watering, been moving the grass. Way up down there is the other little garden. This is the garden we don't mess with. We need to get in here. Maybe this year we'll get in here and pull weeds and trim it up. It's kind of overgrown. It's beautiful. We got the mangoes and stuff like that growing in there. And so, yeah, you know, it's not like I've been avoiding y'all. Sorry about that. I've just been busy doing this and enjoying it and very content. And I know some friends of mine that are retired, and they're in the stock market, and with this deal with the tariffs and all, they're all crazy, you know, like all upset, worried. And premise of my video is, you know, for people that are figuring out that, you know, wanting to retire, younger people, don't keep your eggs in one basket. And that's so true. You know, the stock market is good. I know a lot of people, as far as the pensions back in the day, have gone by the wayside many, many years ago. Geez, about 30 years ago. There's some outfits or police departments, fire departments that have pensions. Some of the military, I think the military went, and my son told me, they went also to 401k and also they delved in it. But the old, some of the vets are still grandfathered into the military pension. And I'm not too sure about that. You know, it's more, just kind of give you my little idea here. Let me show you. I'm going to interrupt myself there. There's a little garden there, you know, right there. We got to plant some, I got some flowers. I got some, daisies and sunflower plants I'm going to plant up front here. So I grew them from seeds, and we're going to walk over there and look at that. I'm going to start the watering later on in the day. The ground was still moist, so I don't want to rot the roots out. Anyway, getting back to what I was talking about, the pensions. So as far as, you know, the big manufacturers of back in the day when this country had big manufacturing going on before we sold our souls to China, there was pensions. And somewhere down the line, they got into this 401k stuff and IRAs and all this. And so that became the pensions for people. And I understand people are, you know, some people just don't have the art of making money or dealing, and I get that also. But, you know, there is outlets you can do if you're an investor. And the stock market, you know, when your 401s and all are basically, stock market is gambling. It's just like I've known some friends of mine who are gamblers, go on party boats, gambling boats. And I'd ask them, how much are you going to take with you to gamble? I mean, is there a limit you're going to go, or are you just going to blow the whole purse? And they go, no. One guy says he brings 1,000. Another guy takes 4,000. Wow. I mean, I don't care if I'm a bazillionaire. I just can't see blowing $4,000 on playing cards. But that's, everybody's got their own, you know. And then some conservatives, I guess, would take 500, I guess, you know, just to go gambling. If you lose that, you lose it, you know. And that's the way gamblers that I know. I've known some other hardcore gamblers that, you know, rolled the dice and lost it all. And then I know some that rolled the dice and made a fortune, especially in thoroughbred horses. I've seen that, and that's another part of gambling, horses, you know. And I've known some people got very lucky and won big time. And I don't know if you can see those thoroughbreds over there. You can zoom in on that. They're out there, and that's a thoroughbred horse. But anyway, yeah, that's another form of gambling. You know, and so all those things, like with the stock market, are gambling. And you know, I'm telling the truth. And you know, and a lot of people won't like it. You know, you can unsubscribe to my channel. Oh well, you know, this is just the facts. And my getting back to what this video is about, especially for newbies wanting to start retiring for the future, there's a lot of key elements you need to do. When's a good time to retire? Well, any time's a good time to retire as long as you do certain steps, have everything paid for. If you can, a lot of people say nowadays, they say, well, it's not a good time to buy real estate. Why? Well, rent's cheaper than mortgages. Well, here's the thing. Might be, but if you own a house, you're not throwing your money away to a landlord. You're buying, you're building equity in your real estate. Your property is going to be yours, and you'll have a place to live when you pay it off. You will never have to pay rent again. You'll have to pay property tax and stuff like that. And so yeah, I disagree with people that say, go ahead and rent. Not unless you're traveling. If you're the work you do, you travel around the world and you're not in one place all the time. Yeah, I get it. And I know some traveling nurses, that travel around. So I can see that. Yeah, rent. And they get it paid extremely well. So, it works out. But okay, so there's number one there. Another one too is CDs. You can invest your money in CDs, and usually that's money. It's guaranteed by the federal government up to, oh boy, not $1 million. I think maybe 100,000. But you know what? I have to look back. I used to know that. Well, if you got more than 100,000, you break it up into the different banks or open up different and buy different CDs, and that's how you play that game. Like if you had $1 million in one CD, that would be nuts, because if something happened, you'd only get 100,000 guaranteed. And I think I'm right there, and correct me if I'm wrong. So, there's another way. Bonds, I really don't. I had many years ago, I had saving bonds, and gave it to my nephew, and it matured over a long period of time, and it seemed to be okay. And I think it was like 5% interest, which was okay. I mean, there's what I'm getting at is you want secure things and more tangible ways of investing. Now, I'm not knocking the stock market right now. What was that guy, Charles Paynes? I was watching him, Fox. He's a financial guy, he's wrote a book, and he's one of the contributors on Fox Network, and he's really good, and he plays the stock market, and he's right. I was watching his show the other night, and now's the time to buy stocks. I mean, the rock bottom. And he had a chart, and it was a good chart. He was showing the years since the 20s when the stock market hit, the Great Depression times, and he showed the chart up and down. And I think there was like 1, 2, 3, 4 spikes that the stocks dropped, and one of them's right now. And if you hang on, yeah. And it's a long-term thing also. So, and that's it. I thought about buying some stocks last week. I said, man, this is a good time, because I got that investor attitude. I want to buy low, sell high. And I just say, you know what, I'm retired now, and I'm not for the long haul. I'm not going to pass away. Well, at least I hope I don't. The good Lord decide if I pass away or not anytime soon. But it's. I don't know. I'm not in for the long haul. If I do anything, it's going to be short investments. Like if I buy a vehicle or something, a motorcycle, whatever, and sell it and flip it. I don't know. It's just, I don't know. Sometimes I think about it. Now, real estate right now, I'm looking. I'm looking. Last year I did really well on buying some property. So I'm just laying low this year. I'm enjoying doing my stuff. I don't need the extra headaches and stuff. And me and the wife, we're living comfortable, and that's what it's all about. And so, my stress level, no stress. I don't have to worry about it. If you get in these things, if you're building your retirement nest egg, my big suggestion, this is, again, I promise, this is the premise of my video, is don't keep your eggs in one basket. Yes, invest in the stock market, 401k and all that. Yes, but put some off to the side for rainy days. In other words, don't put all your eggs in one basket, and because there's going to be a great correction in the stock market. People are going to make more. I mean, I see it coming. I see the stock market just going crazy good, and they're going to rock and roll. But you're in it. Let's say you're 30 years old and you start making money and it's doing good. So when you become my age, 65 or 66, and you want to retire, or 50s, whatever, if you think you got a lot of money, and you depend on that, you don't know where the economy is going to get. You don't know what kind of oopsie daisy we're going to have in this country. You don't know whoever the president at that time gets diagnosed with a pimple on his butt, and that drives the stock market down, or what war is starting. And, so it's always best getting back to the real estate, buying property, and making sure your debts are all paid. Don't get in debt. Pay off your cars. No car loans. No credit cards. If you use credit cards, my God, pay them off every month. Don't pay no interest on them. I use credit cards for a safety net. Uh, at the gas pump and all that. I don't, and I just got scammed last week, and I had to shut the credit card down. But I felt good. I could sleep well because I don't have to worry about some hacker into my bank account, my checking account, or my bank, my savings account. So I sleep good at night doing that. But I pay that thing off. I pay it off every week, basically, the credit card. So you do things like that. You pay off your debts. Work on your mortgage and get a mortgage, pay a house, pay it off. Work on paying it down, because like now, if you were to live on Social Security, and let's say I'm just using this, don't hold me to it, this figure, $1,800 a month, and now that's what some rents are for a halfway decent place. So there's no way you can live. So my suggestion is get a place, pay it off, don't live outside your means. Um, and that's the whole thing. So that's a sure thing. So yeah, you invest in the stock market. Realize that it's up and down. It's a gambling. It's like going on a gambling cruise or in Vegas. You may get really wealthy. You may lose it all. But you got that other stuff on the side. The other investments. You got the cash. You got the stuff paid off for. So when you get time to retire, you can live a good, comfortable. You don't have to get upset when something happens like the tariffs or a war breaks out. You can live free and peaceful and happy and serene. And you can work on your gardens. Now I'll show you the last garden. This is the vegetable garden, and that's the noisy ass owl that he's just sitting there, and he's aggravating sometimes. Come on, talk to us. Oh, now you're shy. There you go. Yeah, how about that? I don't know. I think he's doing good so far. We don't have any vegetables on the plants yet, so we'll see, if he does his job. There's the watermelon. I don't know, first time ever grown watermelon before, so we'll see how that goes. They seem to be sprouting up pretty good from seeds, almost like I call it like growing like weeds. Well, there's a lot of things important today. Yes, sir, my Lord Jesus Christ. My wife, I better say that. My children, I love them. My country, my friends, and you folks in YouTube land. By all means, God bless you all and take care of yourself.